Hello everybody, it's your boy Jose Luis. Normally I would make my videos and I go by Granny Online and on my YouTube channel. But today for today's video, I am going to be a little bit more serious. This is a more serious video that I wanted to make. And I'm recording this on my phone because I have a pretty good camera on my phone, so I think I look decent on it. The recording looks clean and crisp. I'm not even using my new mic because I would be recording this with my webcam, but I wanted to make this at least an HD video with my phone. Since this is going to be a more serious video, this is like an update video from my past year from 2025. This is my first video of 2026. So I do want to say that Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to everybody. I hope you all had a good time with your family, your friends, and I just hope you had a good year overall in 2025. I wanted to start off with this video saying that I am very proud of myself that I made it to 2026. We're in 2026 now, and in 2025 I just finished school. I finally graduated with a bachelor's degree in theater tech back in 2025 in May of 2025. So I'm very proud that I finished school. It was 4 years of my life. Did community college. I transferred to LA, Cal State LA, and I'm grateful, and I'm finally done with school. And I want to make a separate video on that, on my community college experience and transferring and moving to LA. I do want to make that into a separate video because school, I really didn't like school. Honestly, it really, like, once you're in there, it's very exhausting. It's a lot of hard work, especially with me because I needed to work. I was doing full time and I was doing theater project on top of that because it was required of me to do so. So it was very exhausting and at times very overwhelming. So I'm happy to be done. But I do want to give you guys the full details on that on a separate video. I think with schools, it's built on an American system where you study, you take tests, and it's just not really good. It's just not a really well-made system, and you lose a lot of creativity. And that's one of the main reasons I started this YouTube channel back in high school. I wasn't able to upload consistently, but now I can really try now that I'm out of school. And that's one of the main reasons I made this YouTube channel, because I still wanted to be creative. I love making videos. I love playing video games, watching anime, cooking, and those are all things that I can really show you guys on this YouTube channel. And I feel like I can make you guys laugh. Yes, sir. Bruh. So this is the second topic that I wanted to talk about. And I don't really like to talk about relationships on my YouTube channel or on any of my social media platforms, just because that is part of my private life. I try to keep my dating relationship as a private part of my life, so I don't really like to talk about stuff like that. But I think for my YouTube channel, for this video, and just as a life update, I will bring it up because it was part of my 2025 year, and it was tough. It was really hard. I will talk a little bit about it. I won't go into full details or go about names or wanting to attack people or anything like that. This is just for me to update you guys what's going on in my life just a little bit. I was in a really bad relationship, a really toxic relationship in 2025. I met this person at school. We really got along. We hanged out a lot, and from there we started to go out. We started dating, and that's when I started dating this person, that's when the red flag started to show. I think obviously I'm not perfect. She wasn't perfect. Nobody's perfect. We all have our mistakes, our flaws, but it's our best to try to compromise and work past those flaws. But within this relationship, I noticed that this person had a lot of anger issues. She had a really bad attitude, and throughout the whole relationship, that's kind of what made me start losing feelings for this person. I was starting to get headaches. I was being annoyed. I was exhausted from this relationship. It was just constant arguments, man. It was really bad for my peace. And as a man, I want peace. I want to be at peace with someone, but not like this. She had a lot of anger issues, and we would constantly be in arguments. And at the time, I was living with her. in LA, trying to make things work. But it's this relationship just really brought me a lot of stress, a lot of headaches, and I was just overwhelmed by this person. I'll just briefly give you an example of why this relationship just wasn't working. It was just so exhausting, and as someone, for me, I know I'm not perfect, and I know I made my mistakes in that relationship, and we got to talk those things out before we finally ended things. I'm not perfect, but one thing I will like to make a point of is I don't get angry at all. I hardly get angry. I used to have anger issues before I became a Christian, but that was an old me. That's gone. That guy is dead. I'm able to control my emotions. But the person I was with, she had such bad anger issues. She had such a bad attitude. I couldn't deal with it. And I can't change anybody. I'm not going to force you to change. And I just want to give you guys an example of what I'm talking about. So we would constantly argue for months, actually. And I dreaded coming back home because if she was home, one little thing would get her mad and she would be upset. She would be really hard to deal with for the rest of the day. And I just couldn't do it no more. And let me give you all an example. Okay. So one day we were hanging out doing our thing and we were going to go get coffee. I'm not going to name this place because I don't want to get copyrighted or anything. Actually, I'm going to have to bring in names actually because that's part of the argument. We went to Starbucks. And I was just telling her how I love Dutch Bros more. I really, really love Dutch Bros. I enjoy it. I love their coffee. And with Starbucks, every time I get a coffee, it's usually burnt. It's not that good. And it's really expensive. And I was just telling them that, so for a Starbucks venti, it's 24 ounces. And it's usually like $7 to almost $9. Almost $9. And that's very expensive. And I was just telling them that I prefer Dutch Bros because a medium at Dutch Bros is 24 ounces for a medium. And it's usually like $6 to $7. And it's they're both still expensive, but at least it's a little bit more affordable, and you get more product and more drink out of it. And I just told her that both the drinks, even the venti and the medium, they both have 2 shots of espresso. She would constantly argue with me, saying like that Dutch Bros has more milk, this and that, and that's just how it was a conversation. Keep in mind, I'm not the type to argue. Like, I don't want to argue with people. I just giving you that's just my opinion. I was just giving an opinion and just stating why I prefer Dutch Bros. And then that's when she snapped at me. She started yelling at me saying that the venti size at Starbucks has 3 shots. It doesn't have 2, it has 3. And then I said, no, I know this because I always check on the app anytime I order. It shows how many shots each drink has. And she just started yelling at me saying like, why don't you just ever trust my opinion? Like, why? And she just had a bad attitude. She started yelling at me, and all over this started an argument. It was the most stupidest thing I have ever heard. And I didn't want to keep arguing with her. I just said, I just stayed silent, honestly. I just said, let's just get our drinks, honestly. And because in my head, I knew I was right. I just didn't want to argue with this person. And then the next day, I planned to go visit my mom, which I did. So I was out of town. And then she gives me a call and saying, she didn't even apologize. She just said, hey, I wanted to call you because I found out that the venti Starbucks does only have 2 shots, in a nice coffee venti. And I was like, yeah, I know. I just didn't want to argue with you. And that's just one of the few examples. We had many more arguments similar to that. And yeah, I just couldn't deal with it, man. I'm a peaceful man. I just want peace. I'm not going to get angry at you. I'm never going to hurt anybody physically. Like, I'm a very calm and reasonable man. Really? And that's just one of the few examples, like, we had many, many more dumb arguments like that. And I get that, couples go through trials and tribulations and stuff like that, but it was constant. It was like every other day we were having an argument, and I'm not even trying to argue with you. This is like, it was just so ridiculous. And so we had a final talk. I wanted to break things up with her, and I just told her just straight up I was losing feelings for her. And not only that, And I just told her straight up, just honestly, like, if I marry you, I just think we're just gonna end up being divorced. Honestly, like I don't see a good future with you, and I'm done. I was just honest with her. I was tired of this relationship. I was losing my mind in this relationship, and I just gave up. I'm done. I just want to tell you guys how I felt, and just how hard this relationship was. And obviously, I had my faults too. Like, we both had an agreement. Like, yeah, it was both our fault in a sense, you know. Yeah, that's as much as I'll go to sharing on what happened on my relationship. That's as, you know, that's as open as I will get with you guys. I don't want to get too much into details, and I just wanted to, you know, that's it. That was just an end of my chapter in my life. It hurts, it sucks, but this is part of life and me moving on. And just another thing I wanted to bring up, when I was really grinding on my YouTube channel, uploading a little bit more, trying to be consistent, I kind of paused. I stopped for a little bit because I was dealing with my relationship. I wasn't able to focus on my YouTube channel or put effort or give time, and most importantly, just really enjoy it. So I just wanted to bring that up, which is my final topic that I had for this video, is just living with your parents. I think with the economy right now, a lot of people my age, you know, different ages, are living with their parents, and that's not a bad thing, you know. Back in the day, obviously, like, if you could, you should move out of your parents' house. But now, today, if I could, I would move out on my own. If you could, you would move out on your own. But with the economy, the increase on prices on groceries, on gas, on everything, on rent, especially on rent, it's hard to live on your own, especially people my age as well. You know, I'm 23 right now, and I can't even afford it. I was working 2 jobs in LA, and I couldn't afford it if I wanted to live on my own. People are working like 80 hours a week just to get by, and it's just not enough. And that's just the sad reality. And I just wanted to talk on this topic about living with your parents. Obviously, when the time is right, you know, hopefully God will give us the ability to live on our own. But right now, we just can't. And a lot of people may not want to talk about this topic or bring it up because it is like, maybe people feel insecure, or just feel a certain way about it. But I wanted to bring light to the subject because it's just really hard to live on your own. So I think it's okay to bring it up. That's pretty much the last thing I wanted to bring up. You know, this is my first video of 2026, and I'm very excited to, you know, to talk about anime, play new video games, cooking, and even teaching people about God. Like, I'm really excited to show you what I've learned through God and through the Bible. And I just want to say thank you for everybody that watched this video. Thank you so much for listening to me. I know it was a lot that I covered, but thank you for giving me your time. And that's pretty much everything that I wanted to talk about. I'm excited for this new year. I'm excited to try to stay consistent in my uploads, making more content. I have a lot of ideas that I want to show. So I'm just very excited for this year, and that's going to be my challenge for this year: staying consistent with my YouTube channel. And it's going to be a little difficult because I will be out of town for work and stuff like that. So I'll keep you all updated on that, on how all that goes. But with that, that's pretty much it. Thank you once again. I hope you all have an incredible day, a dope day, a great year. And I'll see you all on the next one.